Tasha brought up kids this week for the first time.
I brought it up.
You brought it up, sitting right there. I wrote it down.
Wait. Does this? You're saying it this way because Tasha usually? Do you not want to have kids?
Well, I don't really lean one way or the other. Like I could or I couldn't, and I think I'm like I would be fine. But I do think that like there's something to be said for like having the option. Like I like that I have the option, right? I can decide when I want to decide. But it's starting to feel like I'm getting older and my career is sort of...
Put your fucking headphones on.
I'm trying, but it was all twisted around. So I'm just
Your life is twisted. These were not twisted. You literally complicate
I literally
everything.
Her life is twisted. Our lives as women are twisted.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're interviewing today the twisted Raquel Pomplun, longtime friend of the podcast. We're becoming old friends now. This is good.
Yes, we are. I love it. I love it.
I like meeting new people. It's fun. Blah blah blah. But when you can like have a returning guest over, it's the next level.
It is the next level.
Chapter 2 of our conversation.
We should give everybody like stars. Like every episode you get, it's like a little, like when I was in church choir when I was little, after your first year you got a pin, and it was like, you know, like a little 10-karat gold pin, shirt, like jacket pin or whatever. And then each year you were in choir after that, they put a tiny ruby in your pin. Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Nice.
We should pass the hat so people could donate.
What do you call it? Like a choir veteran. Then you would have a pin with 9 little rubies on it.
Nice.
Yeah, the Catholic Church doesn't have that.
But the space was there for the rubies.
Yeah, it was just, you know, like a tiny. They were tiny.
Yeah.
But
it's good visually. Like when you're in the military, you want to see your progress. You know, like you want the captain sign on the baseball team. Like you want to feel like you're validated.
Or like the bars on your Letterman jacket.
Or I can just pull all your bullshit, and that's my way of saying that I've known you for a long time.
Yeah.
Which
I feel these receipts.
Which I feel like I know both of you for a long time because I listen to you guys, but you don't know shit about me.
I know. You know. I mean, people that listen to us know a lot. Like I say a lot of shit.
Like I don't even know that much about myself. Sometimes I just say things and then forget them, and then people are like,
well, you're very smart. You're more than beauty. Your brains and beauty. So there you go.
Here's how I have to give you a compliment, Raquel. Because you know we met randomly, and then
so random.
But I didn't know until halfway through the last podcast that you were Playmate of the Year, and that in LA you know everyone's credits before you meet them in LA.
Not on me. I always.
I would lead with that if I'd be like, hello.
I never lead with that ever. Just because I want people to get to know me first.
And I'm sorry, but I only introduce you as like, dude, you've seen this, because it's like a cool. That's like a cool.
But that's
thing.
Okay. But like, if I ever meet someone, I will never.
You're not trying
leave.
to like talk yourself up like that and be like braggadocious.
And then some people like we're in the business. Like you're in the business. You're okay. Some people, like normal people, like regular.
They have like a preconception about what Playmate of the Year means.
Yes and no, or they don't know how to act around me, and they change the way they're acting. And it's like, no, you don't have to put me on a pedestal if that's the case, or put me down in the fucking floor.
Yeah,
you have to treat me as a person.
Yeah.
Well, everyone, of course, we want everyone to treat you as a person. But if your husband's playing poker with the guys and there's some sort of dispute, I think he wins by saying my wife's Playmate of the Year.
Yeah,
I think that's how you win it. What do I say? And I brag about Tasha all the time too.
Yeah,
like, you know, it's like
you kind of win with Tasha.
Yeah,
to be honest.
Look, I'm just saying, it's so LA to be like, here's my friend so and so. You've seen them. It's like you introduce people with their credits, or even some of these influencer parties we've been to. Which, by the way,
well, I think sometimes it's like you're introducing people by their credits, but more often than not, I think that's just a way that people introduce each other, because that's how you find common ground.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, I think you'll find this person interesting because they're into X, Y, and Z, which you also have some interest in. You know, like that's why people do it.
But there's gatekeepers in this world. So like if I wanted to have my buddy on a show, my friend's show, I'd be like, oh, you got to see Joel, you know, and then be like, oh yeah, is he good? He's done Conan. You just like say, okay, well, then someone else has vetted him before.
It's like a way to, it is a way to validate people to have them around or whatever the case may be.
And the girl that you produce your show with, Irina, is that my pronouncing Irina? Irina, is she also a Playmate?
She's also a Playmate.
You guys
and
just
I didn't know
each
that
other?
we had. You've mentioned Jade in the show many times, and I'm like, I wonder if it's the same Jade. And then you go to the freaking taco. Is it the same Jade that we know?
Oh, okay. So I actually know Tina. I don't know.
Okay.
And so I don't know.
Your Jade is another Jade.
No, my Jade is another Jade. Yeah. No, I actually know Tina, and I had met her at your Jade.
My Jade.
At a couple of parties, but we don't really know each other. We've never hung out or anything.
Okay, because I was like, Tina. I wonder if she was there for my Jade and it's the same Jade, because that would be such a small world.
For our listeners, we went to a vegan taco red carpet. Pretty much, it was like a red carpet for vegan taco, like a new vegan taco joint.
And sugar taco is it's all vegan, plant based.
But we just missed you. I think we were in there.
Yes, well, because I was coming from a book release from also our bunny mother. And a bunch of Playmates were mad that they couldn't make it to the book release because they were there early for the sugar taco and the tacos and the red
What is
carpet.
a bunny mother?
Oh,
is that like is this like a sorority kind of thing where like you
so
basically a house mom?
Basically, we call her bunny mother, but she technically is not our bunny mother because we're not bunnies. But okay, so long story.
You're not a bunny?
I'm not a bunny.
You're a Playmate of the Year. That doesn't make
I'm
you
a
bunny?
Playmate, but this is now I can be.
Write this down, boys. Get your pen and
now
your
I can be a bunny, but there's. Okay, let me just go from the beginning. Okay, in the beginning of times when Playboy started, there was centerfolds, which are Playmates, and then there was bunnies who were the servers at the clubs.
Oh,
so back then there was a
gentlemen's clubs.
Yes, so back then there was like a line between them because they both existed. Now in 1990 or 85, somewhere around there, they closed down all the clubs, all of them. They were done. And Hef, to keep the bunny suit alive, he started putting it on Playmates for events, for like signings, for parties, for any event. He would put, and I think the first Playmate to wear a bunny costume was in 1990. And this was like, wow, because it's like a Playmate is wearing it. Like, first of all, Playmates were like, ugh, bunnies, and bunnies were like, ugh, you took your clothes off, Playmates. Like, it was like
interesting.
They were still in it together. Like, we were still in the same team, Playboy team, but there was still like some rivalry there where like I earn my money because I work hard as a server. That was the bunnies, right? And as Playmates, well, not me, but the Playmates back then, they were like, well, I made it to the centerfold because I'm the most beautiful woman in the entire world, or whatever the case may be. So they had this tiny unspoken rivalry.
Yeah.
And if a bunny turned centerfold, it was like a big deal with the bunnies. It's like, you traitor. Like, it was
Now, but is it a different? So, like to equate it to chess, is the bunny like the fucking pawn and the centerfold is the queen? Like, is the centerfold like a better? That's like a higher end.
Oh yeah,
the bunny sounds
centerfold
like a cocktail waitress.
Yeah, centerfold was higher, and then bunny, but they were still like.
So you're like, I'm not a fucking bunny, not one of those basic bitches.
No. Well, I don't think that way, but but I do wear the bunny costume. I have 2 bunny costumes, but if we're gonna be technical, I'm not a bunny because the club is back, so I can't say that I'm a bunny.
The club's back.
Yeah, there's one in New York now.
Oh, that's right. You just went.
I had no idea.
Wait, you were just over there.
Yes, I was there for the opening, and then I was there for Playmate of the Year this year. The announcement of Playmate of the Year.
Did they have to? When they ask you to come to one of these events, did they just lay it out like you're going to be wearing a bunny this or that, or is it like an option? Do you want to do this, do that? Like, how does it even...
now because there's a club now they tried to keep Playmates off of the bunny costume. When there wasn't a club, we were always in the bunny
so they're
costume.
trying to go back to that.
They're trying to go back to
differentiate. I'm sure it's super corporate, but I imagine it was some like lady with a rotary phone and a cigarette being like, all right, we're going to need you in New York, 52nd and 3rd.
Well, that was our bunny.
Dust off your bunny.
Because she was a bunny mother back in the day in the 80s.
Oh, first of all, sorry about this. Like, where's it?
Yeah, it's coming from over there. Do you want to go get it, babe?
Hey, it's like right in my face.
I know, awesome. And it's going to screw up our video too. It's like an Instagram filter. You know how they have like the rainbow?
Yeah, the little reflection.
Yeah,
it's like that. It's a filter, guys. Don't worry.
You didn't get it.
It's right. It's that one.
There you go.
There you go.
Sunset.
Anyways, our bunny mother, we called her a bunny mother because she was a bunny mother. She was never a Playmate. She basically started as a bunny, was a bunny for 20 plus years.
Wow.
Then got into corporate Playboy and became the wrangler of the Playmates, basically, for another 20 years. When she retired, she was with the company for 40 plus years, or maybe 50 plus years. Long ass time.
Yeah.
So she wrote a book about it. She was a VIP bunny. So back in the day when Hef had a jet, she was one of the bunnies that were serving at the jet.
That's
like
so
she traveled
cool.
all over the world with Hef. It's like she has stories.
Yeah.
So she wrote a book and she released it, and it was the same day as Sugar Taco's opening day. So
do these bunnies get health care? Like, what's the deal? Is there a general sort of
like what's
basic
her retirement like after 40 or 50 years?
Well, for her, because she was corporate, I'm pretty sure she had like a really good retirement plan. I remember she talked about it. She's like, they're trying to fire me, but no, I got 2 more years before my retirement kicks in. I don't even know how that works.
It's like a New York City cop. He's like vetted. She's like, I'm a mother bunny for life. I don't know why she sounds like that. I'm a grandma bunny now.
Oh, but no, to this day, she's so vivacious, and she's older, but you can't tell how old she is because she's so vivacious. Like she's
no, but I think it's good to like keep people in the system and try not to be so like everything in Hollywood. Everything is so ageist with how they just want to dump people out when they turn 22.
With Hef, when Hef was alive, it was always about that. Corporate was family. So he always kept everyone as long as they could, they wanted, or they were alive.
But here's the problem with a lot of the liberal agenda. And again, I'm not coming to this with any touches already rolling her eyes.
I just wish that you would just stop starting your stories like that.
With the liberal agenda?
Here's the problem with the liberal...
because
what's the problem with the liberal agenda?
Everyone gets offended at so many different things. Like, on one end, you got Playboy, which should be about expression. Fucking show your body. Be proud of it. It's like this super badass thing. But on the other hand, people are like, oh, it's, whatever. He, Hef's a fucking... He's a dirt ball. It's
Nobody met Hef. That's why they talk like that about him. But if you ever had the chance to meet him, anyone who met him would never say that about him because he was everything but that. Like, everybody thought of him as a perv. He was nothing. No, he was everything but a perv. He was such a gentleman. He was hilarious. He had the best sense of, I'm gonna tear up. I didn't get to go to his funeral, so it kind of hurt me that I couldn't go to his funeral.
Was it hard to hear people that have no idea what that have never even come close to meeting before to know that people just want to use him for their agenda? Like, oh, he you know what I mean? Like, people
like trash talking.
Yeah, it's like, because you're right. If you haven't met somebody,
the mantra of Playboy is don't give two fucks. Like, and we really don't give a fuck. People can speak and say whatever they want. It's just coming out of ignorance. So nobody ever thought about that.
Yeah, ever.
To this day, I don't think I think about what people say.
Good.
That's like the greatest gift.
Yeah, it is.
It's the exact opposite of us. Like, we're too worried.
Well,
Please leave a good review.
I'm here to teach you that you should not give a fuck. Because, look, there's a saying that my uncle says that is so true. 50% of, and this is from my grandpa, actually. 50% of the people don't give a shit about your problems. And the other 50% are glad you have those problems. So... in all, 100% don't give a shit about you, basically.
Yeah.
So why should you give a shit about what they think?
No, it's true. It's like, and especially if you're coming down on hard times and you post something online, you'll be hard pressed to find people that actually give a shit. But now, I don't want to speak for you, but you might notice in the stand up community, people got each other's backs.
Yeah, we do.
There might be a lot of petty bullshit that happens, but when it's us versus them, when it's like a club owner or somebody fucks up, comics will come to each other's sides. Or like one comic Jason Signs, he's a comic. He's done Just for Laughs Comedy Festival. He's a pretty well known comic. He fell through a skylight on a rooftop and got paralyzed. And the comics raised upwards of $1 million for him.
Wow!
And it's an ongoing process. But it's like, what other job? You know what I mean? It's like a family, but it's like a dysfunctional family, and I'm sure.
But those are
kind of
communities
Playboy.
that you build.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if you think about just the general public, I think that your dad's saying applies. But but you find your communities, you find people that care about you, and like, just like comics all coming together and having each other's backs, like that exists some places.
Oh, it does.
Sure.
It does. It's like Playmates. Like, we might not know each other, but if we know we're Playmates, we're there for each other.
How do you?
It's so weird. It's so weird. Like, I've met women that are probably in their 50s, 60s. I know nothing about them, but she told me, I'm a Playmate. I'm like, what do you need? because it's so funny how we're so different. All of us are very, very different, but we have one thing in common, which is the nudity. And it's so, I don't know how to explain it. It's so personal, so intimate that because it is that way, it connects us right away. I don't know if it makes sense what I'm saying.
So what about the Playmates that were in when they did no nudity? Are they in the club?
I never met them.
That was for like a year where they did that.
One year.
And they were like, nah, back to normal. Go back.
I think it was a publicity.
It was that one. It was that one. Amber Lee, whatever her name is. You
I don't know.
Her.
There were lots.
She was an arsenic model.
It was a thing. In town, like when it happened, then all of a sudden, all the agencies were like, "Do you want to do Playboy?" Like everybody was asking all the models, "Do you want to do Playboy?" It's not nudity now. Like it was a big thing. I think probably just to get some models in there.
But I mean, it was not. My husband just finished a workout. I get notifications on my Apple Watch. It wasn't nudity, but it was still implied nudity.
Yeah.
So
it's still I mean, no matter what, putting yourself out there in that way, photos of yourself in any sort of publication or line or whatever, or online, it's personal. It is vulnerable. You open yourself up to a lot of like judgment and criticism.
Mm-hmm. Even if you're not nude, if you're just posting your butt, not even with a thong, but just,
or just a sexy bikini photo. Bikini.
That's it. It doesn't even take nudity to be as vulnerable as a Playmate. It takes just being sexy on online.
Because there will be haters, or there will,
haters gonna hate.
Because I don't know why some people just get really angered by seeing like a woman who's feeling themselves. You know what I mean? Like if you're just like having a good time, like you're feeling yourself, you're confident, you feel good about your body, you're like in the sun, whatever. People hate that.
That's because they're so unhappy with their own body or their own life or whatever. But that's just a reflection of their own needs, their own hang-ups.
I promise I won't ask too many more questions about Playboy, but I did. It's like when we talked about it last week, I wake up in the middle and I go, I should have asked this. It's because everything, like, with stand-up, everything's like in a rank, right? You do like a 5-minute set on late night, then you get your 30-minute, then you get an hour on HBO, like, there's like different ranks. Do you do like college co-eds? Is that like, is there like a seed?
There are definitely rankings, but they're unspoken. And at the end of the day, I feel like being a Playmate, when they pick you as a Playmate, they not only pick you by your beauty, they pick you by your brains and your personality. So you will never find, actually you will. There are exceptions. There are exceptions.
Name them. I'm kidding.
It's really not that hard. I can count them with my hands because it's that little percentage of exceptions.
But you don't go straight to centerfold, right? I mean, like, are there
No,
like,
you do.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah. Most of centerfolds, maybe 85% of centerfolds went straight to centerfolds, and then the other 15 went through co-ed or what's it? Cybergirl.
There's just so many medium. It used to be there was a magazine. You open it up and there's whatever. Now it's like you could see all the different levels, and I just wondered if are people like stuck in the college co-ed but they want centerfold and like they're just not there.
Well, I don't think they do co-ed anymore. But when they did, it was only one issue, and I think it was October because it was like homecoming issue, and basically the girls that were the fabes, they would end up being centerfold. But we never. There was some like unspoken thing like, oh, she's a Playmate, we can't mess with her, like she's the ultimate like top, right?
Yeah.
But us Playmates would never be like bitchy about it and be like, well, you co-ed. No, we wouldn't do that. We'd be like, hey, you're part of the family. We're Playboy. We're all Playboy. We don't give a shit. But it would come more from them than from us.
See, I would do it. If we all went out to dinner and they didn't have our reservation, I'd be like, do you know who she is? Can I get a maitre d'?
My girlfriends do that all the time. I'm like, stop. This was 5 or how long ago?
That's
6 years ago. I don't give a shit. You were the first Mexican American Playmate of the Year. They should know who they're dealing with. I'm like, stop. Nobody gives a shit.
But no, and we had,
The poor hostess is just like, I'm sorry.
it's just like, this is a
And I'm like, no, it's fine. We can wait.
She's like, that's a
And my
Chipotle.
girlfriends are
We
like-
don't do. Just get in line. We guacamole. We'll give you the guacamole if you want. We'll help
Do you
you
want the
out.
guacamole for free?
Playmates of the year, you get free guacamole. That would be pretty big. You're a Playmate of the year and free guacamole. Load it up. Just come and bring your own chips. Now, because Tasha and I, we've talked about this before, but as a model, it's like, would you ever do that?
Would you ever do Playboy?
I mean, is it an option now?
What do you mean?
Still around? I don't know.
It is still around. It's actually the magazine. Personally, I think it's way better right now. I
Really?
love it. I love it. It's very, very chic, very high end. They changed everything about the magazine. It's way bigger now. The only thing that I think kind of takes away from the special thing about Playmate is that it's only, what is it? Four magazines a year now.
Okay.
Oh, really?
It's quarterly now.
That's
So
smart.
there's 3 Playmates per issue. So I feel like it takes away from the special,
Yeah.
centerfold. 'cause
But that's
You're
what, like,
sharing your shine.
Sports Illustrated swimsuit
Yeah.
edition will have like, all right, we've got 12 different covers now. Like at the printing press used to be like, you print this. Now it's like you can do multiple collector
Yeah,
editions.
that actually
Yeah,
is a
yeah,
really
yeah.
cool idea. If they had they did a quarterly issue, but they did 3 covers per.
Yeah.
Like
You can pick and choose. But now they don't even put the Playmate on the cover. They just put whatever on the cover. Whatever thing they have politically that they want to, voice, they put it on the cover.
Yeah, I mean, they really have changed the way. I think a lot of publications actually have gotten way more political, even the teen magazines and stuff.
But the thing is that Playboy started political, and people don't know. People forget, and the people that know forget that, and the people that don't know did know.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, that's so cool." I'm like, "That's how it started."
Where are you with the politics of today? How do you feel? Because I know we've seen each other's posts online.
I know, right?
And I'll say
I was
this.
like, "Fuck you."
I know Tasha. Yeah, I know she liked you before that, but I know she liked you more after. She's like, I was a bad bitch. The A doesn't give a fuck, but she's holding her ground. Because we share stuff online, and for the context, we're as Facebook friends, we see that sometimes you draw your line in the sand with an issue on pro-choice, pro-life, an issue on left, right, this and that. So like,
I don't have a side. I don't believe I have a side. I'm a believer in having the choice to look at every single issue and looking at it from every side and seeing what's the best solution for that issue. I don't have a side. But when it comes to women,
well, you have the personal experience of being a woman. So.
which is the biggest argument. My brother is very political, and he's very, what's the side that's conservative?
right.
Oh, like extreme right. Like it's so extreme, and I'm like, you're too extreme for me, bro. I love you, but you're too extreme.
But how do, as siblings, because my sister's the same way, where she's still very much indoctrinated into this Christian or Catholic idea of something, and hasn't moved and doesn't understand what Planned Parenthood is, and she doesn't get that. So I love her, and I don't blame her for not knowing things.
Yeah, you can't blame people for their ignorance. You can't. That's the first
what
thing.
you don't know, you don't know.
you don't
Which is
know.
one of the bigger problems, I think, is that we're blaming people that don't know, and instead of being
For not
compassionate.
knowing.
But
Yeah.
here's the issue. This is why people get frustrated, is that if someone's going through the trouble of trying to help explain things or help you open your mind, it's your responsibility to be open to change, be open to listening, be open to possibly modifying your opinion.
Yes.
That's just called living and growing. That's how you're supposed to live.
Have knowledge, because a lot of people that criticize and judge you for what you believe or think don't even know half of the shit that they're talking about.
Yeah.
They can't, when I posted the fuck you Alabama and Ohio, follow me on Instagram.
Yeah, please subscribe, rate, and
Pomplun.
review. We appreciate your support on Patreon, Alabama.
Anyways, the one argument that was consistent in all the comments was like, "You're evil. You're gonna go to hell." I'm like, "Honey, I'm gonna go to hell ever since I post nude. I already know that. You're not telling me anything new."
God made us naked.
Yeah.
I think God's okay with us being naked.
Yeah, I don't think God gives a shit about whatever. But God has bigger issues. That's all I'm gonna say. But the one constant comment was like, you're evil, you're going to go to hell, you're killing babies. And I said, this is where I'm like, I don't even know how to say it. It pisses me off every time. It's not a baby. It's a clump of cells. And even if it has a heartbeat, can it live outside of me?
Yeah.
Can it? Answer this question. Can it live outside of me? No, then it's not a fucking baby.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong.
Until it's born, it is a parasite in your body.
Basically, because it's eating all your nutrients. But don't get me wrong. I have mixed feelings because I also think that there's so much, what do you call it? What do you call the medicine that you take so you don't get pregnant?
Hormones?
No.
Oh, birth control?
Birth control. There's so many birth control there's so many types of birth control, and there's so many lazy women. I do believe in that. Like, don't get to the point where you have to be pregnant and then have to have an abortion. But if you have to have it and you want to have it, fucking have it. That's your fucking choice.
I just think like we have to err on the side of like letting people. It's sort of like, in order to protect the people that need it the most, like people who have a baby that's ill, that's not going to make it, and it's making the mother sick, and it's going to cause complications, or it's already died and it's still in them.
Well, they can have an abortion there legally if it's already dead. I think so.
No, not in all places.
Oh,
that's the thing.
There's
I mean, a woman in Ireland died just like 2 years ago because they refused to, it's called an abortion when you take out even a dead fetus. Like if you have to remove it surgically, it's called an abortion, and they wouldn't take it out, and this woman died.
Oh my God.
And so, but that's the thing. It's like we have to err on the side of caution in protecting these people in the most vulnerable of situations. And yes, people should take some personal responsibility, of course, but like we're gonna like we have rights too. You know, like
no. And aside from anything, like aside whether it's right or wrong, it's your personal choice, and nobody should ever be able to take that away from you.
It should be between you, your doctor, your God, if you have one. That's it. It's nobody else's business.
And look, I know we could talk hours about this, and if someone disagrees, no, because you're right, and I think our society is so litigious where we're like, we want to know where the line is. Well, if you can do it
there's no line.
16 weeks, can you do it at, there's always that one, well, then at what point? And you have to draw a line legally is the thing. Like, you have to say, like, okay, legally, this is, like at the first trimester, you're okay, but then what if it's a day later? It's like, Jesus Christ, you need to be able to decide every situation on
individually.
Its own.
Yes,
yeah, but you're never going to be able to imagine every possible situation, and that's where people end up in trouble, because then they have to go to court to like be able to do something that should.
That's why these laws should not exist.
Yeah,
and if there was a law already protecting us in 1970, why the fuck are we revoking that now?
Yeah. Still having to protest and scream and march and wave signs around.
I feel like it's just
50 years later.
It's just the tactic to keep, because they're seeing the power that women are getting because we're not having children. We're being smart about our bodies.
The number one way to lift women out of poverty is to give them the choice about when they give birth.
True.
When they have children.
Amen.
I mean, that is literally, that's been proven that the number one way to lift women out of poverty is giving them options over their own body.
And the government, with so much power, are getting so scared about all the women that are rising to the government and taking power because they're not having children.
Yeah.
Well, look.
Or making money on their own and are able to divorce somebody who's not doing
Why
a good job.
do you think that in third world countries it's still illegal to have an abortion? It's a way to keep women, because they fucking Adam knew, if you're religious, but if you're not, let's say he was the first man in the world, he knew she was smarter. He fucking knew. That's why he made her feel guilty as fuck because she bite that apple. He knew.
She ate from the tree of knowledge.
Look, I'll just say this. I think I'm the first one to make things a gender issue. The first one. I think it's more of an IQ and also like what Kool-Aid you're drinking. The other night we're watching some YouTube clips, and I watched the liberal version, and then I watched the Fox News version, and it's fascinating. It pissed Tasha off to watch, but it's like no, it's good to see what turn.
You have to see both sides always.
Yeah.
I just can't stand when people call pro-choice pro-abortion. And then you see that same sort of rhetoric like online. People are like, I'm not pro-life or pro-choice, but I think that like you should have a choice. No. And it's like, bitch, that's pro-choice.
It's only pro-choice and pro-life. That's it. we're not pro-abortion. It's pro having a fucking choice.
But as our listener Nicole, who has emailed and told me about this, my friend Nicole has told us the people that are that are pro-choice have done a shitty job of like labeling it. It's the pro-lifers that they took over life. The conservatives they took over like a flag. USA, bro. You know what I mean? They kind of like jockeyed themselves.
Wouldn't you say that in general, like Trump and they've done a good job of that in general. Like they just take something that's a non-truth and run with it. And it's like if you shout a word over and over and over again, eventually people start to believe it. It's just like repetition makes it almost true, even though it's not true. So like they started saying like pro-abortion, or they started calling like birth control like abortifacient. How am I'm saying it wrong? I'm sure I'm saying it wrong, but like they basically like so many people, I'm pretty sure including your dad, think that birth control is like an abortion. Like people think that Plan B is an abortion, right? No. Plan B is not an abortion. Plan B is preventing any cells from holding. It's just a bunch
of hormones that tell your body that you are
already pregnant
so you don't get pregnant,
so that a sperm cannot implant.
Yes.
Right?
That's what it is. That's cells. That's still not a baby. There's no heartbeat for sure there.
I heard a really fun one today. Actually, sorry, Dave, to stomp on you. But I heard a really fun one today because it was like, those cells used to have life, right? Like it was, what was it? It was like a Facebook status. Like if you have an abortion, you're not no longer pregnant. You're the mother of a dead baby. And I'm trying not to laugh. But the person's like, no, it's a clump of cells. And the person said, yeah, but those cells used to have life. And somebody goes, bitch, all cells used to have life, but we don't get all hung up on exfoliating.
Or your vegetables. That's a cell too.
All right, I'm taking the next 90 seconds to steer us out of this.
Okay.
Just like a steering a boat out of the harbor. And this isn't to shit on the conservative culture. It's just this specific issue because I just think there are plenty of good people, and you have to have a lot of compassion. We've said it millions of times over and over. You have to have compassion and patience, and not like meet. A lot of the far left uses a lot of vitriol and like sort of they're throwing milkshakes at people they don't agree with, and it's like it's crazy. I mean,
it shouldn't get that way.
I listen to. I'm not letting you talk, Tasha.
It happens on both sides.
The man is silencing you right now. I listened to a podcast with Milo Yiannopoulos, and you were like, isn't that like fucking white nationalist guy? He's just a gay British guy. Like there's people out there that aren't, it's important that we listen to all sides, including a lot of conservative sides. And
we got to take our own advice and like be willing to listen as much as we talk.
It's just like you can only be smarter if you're like a lawyer to hear what like the other side is saying, because then you can build your defense.
You always have to listen to all sides.
And obviously, like sometimes, because I brought this up because Facebook, threads, comments, it's we get so baited into them. I did the same thing with my sister. I wouldn't do it with a stranger, but my sister posts something and I go, Jesus Christ, Chase, like, you know what I mean? Like you're posting the most nonsensical bullshit in the world. And I can tell her that because she's my sister.
Yeah. Whereas I did it with my brother too.
Yeah. And if it's someone who's like just a fringe friend, I'd be like, all right, let's just scroll along.
Yeah. Move on past that.
You feel the need to like help somebody
that's
out.
Above my pay grade. I don't need to educate the world.
But like, and we had a long conversation with my stepdad about it where we were talking about Planned Parenthood, and he's like, I wouldn't go in there in a million years. But like, he doesn't understand. And like, Tasha, you went to Planned Parenthood this week.
If it was the only hospital that was right next to you and you were dying, you would go in there. Trust me.
But that's the thing. It's like so many people don't even know that they offer other services. Like I just don't have great insurance, and a lot of like my gynecologist doesn't take my insurance anymore. So every time I go in there, I have to pay cash out of pocket, right? So it's $250 for the visit, and I don't remember how much it is additional for the ultrasound because I have PCOS, so they always do an ultrasound to see if I have cysts or whatever, and so it ends up being a lot of money. And then, I had another friend that had recommended a different doctor. I called again. They didn't take my insurance. And I was like, well, how much is it going to be cash? $250 for the visit, $250 for the ultrasound, even more than my other doctor. And they couldn't see me for 2 months. So I was having
2 months?
Yeah. As a new patient, their next available was 2 months. But I was in a lot of pain. I've been in a lot of pain, like abdominal pain for a couple weeks, and pretty sure it's cyst related, right? So, but it was was Monday morning. I was like in tears knowing that I had to go to work and I was in so much pain and that this doctor couldn't see me for 2 months and just thinking about how expensive it was. I was like, you know what? Let me see if Planned Parenthood has any openings. They were able to get me in 2 days later. I went in on Wednesday. Yeah,
nice.
and they had openings before that, but it didn't work with my schedule.
You were working.
But like I went in there, they take my insurance.
But can I say something? You know what I've learned from that conversation we had with my stepdad was that Planned Parenthood privately funds their abortions.
They do.
Not a single federal dollar goes towards abortion.
And we told him that, and he goes, huh, if that's true, then I would change my opinion. And I was like, oh, that's a good thing.
Well,
but,
it's true. Change your opinion.
Yeah, but when you have that conversation with someone, you like pick apart their logic. I don't want my tax dollars funding abortions. Okay.
They don't.
They don't. And that's just quick Google it and look at it. And then, whatever. Anyway, so we're out of the harbor. But the point was, what was the point? I brought it up. I know I'm guilty of it.
Planned Parenthood does a lot of great things, including just taking care of women's health.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. It educates people. It educates people who don't have money to get educated.
And that's what.
And they give out free condoms.
And they give out free condoms.
They were like, "Would you like any free condoms?" Or
yeah.
I had to take Sarah Ann to Planned Parenthood. Our friend, her she was on crutches and her boyfriend had a job and I didn't or something, so I had to take her to Planned Parenthood. And I like walked in and I didn't say anything, but I had this thought of like, I didn't fuck her. I didn't knock her up. Like, I just felt like I was guilty of knocking up a friend of mine because I'm like walking in with her and I don't know what she was getting done.
You know what I was afraid of? I was sitting in the waiting room. It was taking a long time. They had a really good movie on that's on Netflix that I actually want to watch. I want to finish What a Girl Wants. Do you know that movie?
I don't think I've seen it.
What a Girl Wants.
No,
wait, isn't it?
It's like a Disney girl, like or like a Nickelodeon young girl.
I think I've seen it. Yeah,
I had never seen it when I was younger, and I was watching it. I was like, "This is a really good movie. I totally need to watch it."
So you were watching it in Planned Parenthood?
Yeah, in the waiting room. But I was like, "Man, is somebody gonna come on here and shoot up this waiting room while I'm sitting here?" I mean, that's the kind of thing you think when there are so many misinformed people that just think that we're a bunch of baby killers. I mean, it happens.
So
it happens.
So to put a bow on this
Mm-hmm.
conversation, it's okay if you disagree with what we're saying or agree, but we have to remember whether you agree or disagree that the only way out of the arguing and darkness of our times in 2019 is knowledge, but also patience, and I'll relate it back to relationships. This lady to my left, there are a million ways in which I think you're insane. But I hold on, I'm going to steer it.
You don't live with me, that's why.
I go, what the fuck is wrong? Like, you're so different than me, is my point.
We
so
are.
Different. Women in general, but also you as a human, your spirit, soul, body is so uniquely different and I almost said crazier than me. And I have to we had a few episodes ago where Jess, our friend Jess was on and we were talking about how I always leave the toothpaste off the brush.
And then I texted Tasha and I said, well, let me tell you my story.
And now there's a whole
She sent me a picture. No, listen, I've got so many people online sending me messages of the toothpaste lid off the toothpaste or like shit left out by the sink.
If that's the biggest of the issues, you're welcome. Okay? Because the shit.
No, the issue. Okay. This is I'm gonna, because I don't think you were able to clarify this in that episode. I remember this episode. The issue is not that the lid is off the toothpaste. The issue is that you've been told many times to put the lid on the toothpaste and you still don't do it.
Listen, Raquel.
You're not listening.
Raquel, listen.
So in other words, you don't care.
Yeah, that's how it makes us feel.
It comes down to
care.
caring.
I'm installing
and
lights.
I realize,
hold on, Tasha. I'm installing cameras in all these rooms because I don't think. Hold on. I'm going to whisper this. I got the wrong one.
This is such
bullshit. Tasha, close your ears. I don't think I'm the person guilty of leaving.
That's just not
I think
true.
She's leaving the lid
off.
Okay, no, I never leave the lid off the toothpaste. What I will do is if Dave has left the lid off the toothpaste, I'll continue to leave the lid off the toothpaste so that you notice the next time you brush your teeth, which might be 3 days later.
That's not true. That's a mischaracterization of my...
You left the lid off the
Thank you. I believe that you can overbrush your teeth. I will say that. I do believe you can overbrush your teeth. I think it wears away the enamel, but 3 days, come on. But so in my issue, so okay, 2 screws, it's done. She fucking just blasts off some dinner like she's some stoned 15-year-old and leaves and again I don't need to and she leaves and I go, okay, I'll see how long I'm Gandhi with a food strike.
What does she do?
She makes this like soy soup bullshit, like whatever. She just dices a few things and throws it in willy-nilly, curry, the whole thing, puts it in we have one ceramic pot.
So you were leaving that soup on purpose.
72 hours. She left this soup out like a savage. Starving kids in Africa, and I didn't even say anything, but I go, oh, geez, and then here you are, because and here's the issue, is that you know who you are, Raquel, you know who you are, and I know who I am. So when you see something that's off, you think your shit doesn't stink. You think everything you got.
Absolutely not. That's
when
not true.
Every morning you leave for work before me, the bed's all disheveled.
That's not true. That's such bullshit. And yes, I was true this week. It was.
It was true.
This week it was true, but literally I am the only person who makes the bed every single morning. Yes, you're in here doing dishes or making coffee or doing whatever you're doing. Tasha. But I always make the bed. And
Thank
this morning, when I had to be up at the butt crack of dawn every single day, I left the bed for you because you didn't have to be out early.
Well, and you were still in bed, weren't you?
Well, look. Raquel.
No?
Raquel.
Are you going to speak slowly again?
I'm just slow and quiet. Listen, everyone out there, just kick back. You're stuck in traffic. Listen to your boy, Dave. I'm fighting the good fight here. This whole thing about emotional labor, Tasha taught me this word, so it's going to be used against her. All this, emotional labor, and it's like, it's because they say women, the matriarchs, they have to, hold on, Tasha, your volume is off. Your volume is off. You are in the,
my mic is right
section.
Next to you, girl.
Yeah, and your volume's going down next. No, I'm kidding. The guess I can't turn, and I'll put you back on. You do emotional labor. It's like, the major, Mom, where to leave my homework? Where's the bike pump? It's like women are supposed to control all these thoughts, and so it's like I get that you've shined light onto this issue, so I see that I need to be in control of my own life and this and that, but it's bullshit because I've got to do all these things to like support your life, but then the one time I asked
all these things to support your life.
Yeah,
that's
and the
part
point,
of being
but the point is, unlike this episode 343 or whatever we're on, I don't bitch about this in real life, Raquel. Like it's not a big issue. I'm just calling out bullshit because if you're going to be the one who's talking about the toothpaste lids, I'm going to be the one who's talking about you actually leave the lid up on the toilet. I know you don't pee standing up, and I don't know why the lid's up on the toilet, but I never
because I cleaned it.
Well, but now the dog's up on the squatty potty drinking blue water. You know what I mean?
Oh my God.
And I've never done that, so I'm good. So like,
there you go.
I can be trained. The toilet seat lid, I've never had an issue with. Right? I've never had an issue with that. Fine. I grew up never having to make a bed, so like that's kind of new to me. But I do appreciate these traditions that you have, these rituals, and I've learned to make the bed, trying to make it to your specifications. But Tasha, and you can be quite a perfectionist, and that sets the bar really high. So like I've been painting all this shit in this room, and she looks at it like she's a fucking building inspector. She goes, "You missed a spot," and I go, "Well," and then the child in me is like, "I just want you to say I did a good job." Like the parts that I did do look really nice, I would think, but it's not all done. We're working on it. It's like
it's a slow process. It's taking a really long time. It's messing with my flow.
You need to be hugged more. You're not. You're just. It's. I understand it's not your strong suit to like coach, but you need, and all the ladies listening and men too. If you think you might have a problem with being like a supportive coach in the relationship, you do. You are a problem. You need to be supportive every day.
Time out. Hold on. You already said your 2 cents. I'm going to say my 2 cents. Okay?
Please, the floor here.
First of all, you have a good point. Lid, whatever thing. What is it?
The pot. He gets mad that like I'll cook dinner. But here's what happens is that I'll cook dinner, I'll leave extra, and he doesn't get home till late. And a lot of times he complains he doesn't like the food that I make, so he doesn't eat it, or he already ate, so he doesn't eat it.
It's ginger broth.
But I leave it out. So that if he's hungry, he can have some when he gets home. And I think it's a simple thing that if he doesn't want any and he doesn't want to have to do cleanup and he doesn't want to have to put it into a container, to just stick it in the fridge. I think that's pretty simple. I think that's a pretty simple ask.
Now, do you use this pot a lot?
Every morning I need it to boil eggs because I'm a man and I need hard-boiled eggs. So I go to crack an egg and I look and there's just this
swamp
ginger soup.
To him, your toothpaste lid is the pot. So you both should know how each other feels.
Yeah. No, we
I think
do.
Raquel's saying Tasha's wrong, and we're actually out of time, so we have to leave.
Tasha's not wrong. She's still right, but you're also right. So, Tasha, you need to figure this shit out.
And again, the only difference is I don't bitch.
Well, and no, there is two differences. The first difference is that I leave the pot out of a place of love in case you're hungry
true.
and you want
Baby,
some.
I left the
you
toothpaste
don't
up
leave
so
the
you can use it.
No, that is a bullshit excuse.
Why do they even have lids? There's not toothpaste spilling out.
They get hard
from flying.
No,
in.
they dry up. Toothpaste dries up.
Okay.
Okay. But, this is a big but, not all households have two sides. In my house, I'm the one that's clean because I'm a freaking, can we cuss here?
Yeah.
I'm a fucking OCD mess, okay? I'm picking up everything all the time. So it does piss the fuck out of my senses when my husband leaves something out of place.
How do you address it with him? Like, what's a common thing he leaves out of place? Is there like a pillow he just can't seem to fluff the right way?
No, it's never a common thing. It's something new all the time. Because he does learn from
But this is a guy
me
who's
saying, bitch! That doesn't go there.
You call your man a bitch?
No, I don't.
Tasha calls me names. I learned to ignore him. You fucking loser. But like, this is a guy. Your husband's a strong, burly man. He's in the reserves. He can probably kill a man with his
I taught him how to change the oil in a car, so it doesn't matter. I do all the manly things because I'm a daddy's girl. Okay. And I was poor, so I had to help him with everything. So, no, it don't matter. It don't matter.
Yeah, but at what point? So I guess my question is this: for people in relationships listening, at what point do you realize not to take offense? Like, do you take offense to these things? Because
I do, because I'm working my ass off to leave everything in order and clean and nice for you to discredit it by leaving something out of place. Like, really? Like, so basically, I'm your maid.
Yeah, it's like the peace and harmony of your home is affected by everything being in its place and looking nice and being zen. Like, that's the best way I feel to experience.
But let's say if we were both messy, at least I wouldn't feel not appreciated because we're both messy. But I'm cleaning up everything, and then he. Like, what's up with you guys and leaving like doors open in the
yeah.
Like, what's up with that?
Fly them open like some exorcism just happens.
Why? Like, why? And the thing is that we have 4 dogs, 6 cats, 4 lizards, and
Noah's
a bird.
Ark over here.
Yeah, Noah's Ark. We can't afford
be in every drawer.
We can't afford to leave anything.
People have
over
to follow
anything.
your Instagram because you always have the parakeet out or whatever. What kind of bird is it?
He's a San Conure, and his name is Fitzgerald.
Does he just shit everywhere? How does that work?
He shits everywhere. No, he shits everywhere in his area, and we have to clean that.
But you have a bird flying around. You got 4 dogs.
He can't fly.
You got toothpaste out everywhere.
No, actually, toothpaste is not an issue.
Oh,
but. So one of my geckos we have to change out their food, his food every 2 days. And he takes out the old food, which is what I send you a picture of, and just leaves it there. And then puts new food. But he doesn't take the old food and like rinse it out and like put it like the little container, put it away, nothing. He just leaves it there.
What does your husband do that you don't do? That he quietly sort of just takes control of? That's something that like he doesn't, because I feel like men, again, super.
Dave does the dishes.
But
our battery's about to die.
No, that's fine. I'm not asking you this because I'm like looking for praise, but and it's a blanket statement. But I think a lot of times the guys will just put their nose down and go get some fucking shit done, and then I'm painting all these things, and that's like, you missed the spot. And I'm like, I'm gonna fucking put your head through the wall.
Maybe that's why I don't bitch to him, and he doesn't take it so personally, because I do everything he does, and he does 90% of everything I do.
Yeah.
So maybe 80%, because I take care of everything.
Because well, it's okay. So
everything from like administrative in the house to like manual labor, I do everything.
And is it because you're a perfectionist and you think you're going to do it the right way?
Well, no, it's because he has a full-time job, so I feel bad not doing everything when I'm half of the time home, because we're in the entertainment business, so half of the time I'm not working.
Mm-hmm.
And I make what he makes in 5 days in 1 day. So half of the time is that, and then the other half is maybe because I am a perfectionist, but he sort of is a perfectionist too. So I trust him with everything except mopping. He can't mop for shit.
Bring him over here. I'll teach him how to mop. I'm the mop king. I fucking love to mop.
He doesn't know. He thinks that mopping, nobody can see this, but it's basically side to side, no edges, right? And then everything stays on the edges.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay, you want to hear about a savage mopper? Tasha over here. If the dog pees, sometimes she has an accident, she'll use a Swiffer sweeper.
No,
she'll
but
just spray Swiffer sweeper on him.
That's a gross mischaracterization.
Don't steal my words.
No, I always spray it first with a separate cleaner, and then I wipe all that area with paper towels, and then I go over it with the Swiffer.
That's okay.
She goes over it with the Swiffer. In the 5 years that I've lived here, how many times have you used the actual mop? Quick answer right away.
None.
0 times.
I hate the mop. The mop is
so you know what?
bitch.
You know what? From now on, I'm going to be sending Raquel photos of me mopping while you worry about a fucking lid on a toothpaste.
No, but here's the thing that we didn't say that I think needs to be said about
there
that.
You go girl.
Is that like when you're asking somebody something over and over again and you don't see a change, then it starts to feel like personal or hurtful. I think in general, you and I do a good job of kind of expressing like things that are bothering us from the get-go. Like, babe, I would really appreciate it if you could do X, Y, and Z. Babe, you tell me. I would really appreciate it if you could clean that pot.
She probably goes crazy ape shit on you because she already told you 100 times.
Yeah.
But she's also got a very much a more narrow threshold for like what bothers her. So like I might make the bed and it's just not up to your standard.
But I appreciate that you made it, and I can go in and zhuzh it and fix
too.
it and make it a little better.
I do that too.
Yeah, like
but
I can make it.
Sometimes, and maybe that's a bad example. Sometimes in a relationship, when you coexisting and you're trying to impress each other, like sometimes I'm trying to do things to impress you, and then you'll come home and be like, the place is not in a good shape.
Yeah,
and
that
I'll
feels
be like,
that I've done that to my husband several times, and then I feel shitty for doing that because then I thought of like, oh, you know what, he was trying his best. He was doing, and I just came and shit on him. And so I'm huge in recognizing when I'm wrong. Huge, because I expect that from people. So I have to set an example.
Tasha's like, recognizing you're wrong? What is that?
So full of shit, and you know I'm excellent at recognizing when I'm wrong.
The fact that she's not wrong that often doesn't mean that she doesn't recognize when she's wrong.
No, I'm good about knowing when I'm wrong. And I'm good
tally.
about saying sorry, too.
Yeah.
That's another one of my strong
Couldn't be
suits.
more wrong about that.
Yes.
Couldn't be. You only apologize for things I don't care about.
No, you... Listen, if we're comparing ourselves to each other, you never apologize.
Let me say something, and I hope it doesn't hurt you. It doesn't come from a place from criticizing. It comes from a place of love.
See, she even prefaced it in a nice way.
But
that's a nice preface. I'm listening now.
But from listening to all the shows, I think you're more of an emotional person, and she's more of a rational person. So half of the things you might take it bad because you're more emotional. Yeah. And in her head, she's just being practical.
Well, I will say this, and you're
Thank you. I think we deserve a round of applause. Yeah. Can I get my mic? Can we add in some applause?
I just turn your mic off. How about that?
That's emotion. That's emotion acting.
Yeah. Who's to say that being rational is better? Emotion.
No, I'm not saying it's better or bad.
Difference.
It's not good or bad.
Like a communication style.
But Tasha's like got this autistic way of like telling me the truth, and it's like, chill the fuck out. Truth hurts. I need you to tell me. I know if something's wrong. I need you to sugarcoat it. It doesn't mean
like I just did it right now.
See, Raquel just did it.
Okay, but then that's something you can teach her.
Emotional labor that you're asking me to do to
Raquel?
baby something down for you.
Okay, perfect.
But that doesn't mean. Hold on.
We're all pointing fingers.
That doesn't mean.
But you see what she just did?
The video of this is just a bunch of people pointing at each other.
Do you see what Tasha just did? She like said why her way is right because she doesn't need to baby me. You do need to baby me. I'm 34, and I'm not changing. Baby me.
I don't think she needs to baby you, but understanding that he's more emotional could help.
It definitely
less drama
to understand your significant other's communication style.
Yeah.
I can understand that, and I've tried to make an effort to give you gold stars when you need them and like say things
every
sweetly,
day.
But it is not
he
my
needs
natural.
You need it every day.
Raquel,
it's just
it's
not
simple.
my natural
Raquel,
state
listen.
of being. It's hard for
woman,
me to
and I don't need
communicate
it
in
every
that
day.
way. Yeah.
Listen. I was raised by all women. It's okay. It's all right. There's nothing wrong if women are emotional, and there's nothing wrong with I'm emotional. Okay, I've been eating a lot of soy lately. Okay, my estrogen levels are peaking. But you say I tried.
Soy do that?
Oh yeah, soy's not good for men. Yeah,
wow.
in abundance, really not. And soy's in everything, so that's why
Yeah.
you get these. You do. You get bitch tits. I started.
If that was true, the amount of tofu I eat, I would have big boobs.
Yeah.
So like,
there's truth into it.
yes,
That's
sure.
too much
There's
soy
a
is not
kernel
good.
of the truth.
Anyway, I think the struggle that we have is Tasha knows my love language. She knows what I need, but it's very hard for her to still do it. And again,
Just the same way that you know that I need you to be detail oriented when you clean the house,
And you don't do it.
don't. It's not
Oh,
like
that's like the-
recognizing that like we have like different styles of being doesn't mean that it's instant fix. It just means that you have to pay more attention. I have to pay more attention about finding the way that's best to communicate with you, and you have to be paying more attention when I say, "Babe, clean the house," and then I come back through and I'm like, "What the fuck? Everything looks crazy because you weren't detail oriented about stuff."
I think if each other gave each other that, then it wouldn't be hard for her to be more loving.
well, I'll say,
no, what is it like? Care, like
nurturing,
nurturing?
and empathetic towards
and then the moment she's like that with you, then it's not going to be hard for you to be more detail oriented either.
Well, but here's the thing. I'm asking her to understand what I need, and she's asking me to change who I am.
No.
I'll be as detail oriented as I can, but if I'm
Were you
cleaning,
not listening?
sometimes
It's the same
Because it's coming from a place of care. You're not changing who you are. You're just carrying for her needs.
okay, and I'll just say this then, is sometimes it's like, look, I want to put the fucking lid on the toothpaste. Okay, I do. I want to do it. But sometimes it ain't happening. I'm going to try my
Why?
best. Because it's just like, men, maybe.
I don't think it's a men thing.
Maybe not, but maybe I'm just wired to worry about like bigger picture things. I can multitask and get so much more done. I've been dying to tell Tasha this, because this is how I know we're
exactly
different.
like you. And I think I'm multitasking. And I think I'm doing more. But I believe when she says that we're half-assing, we do half-ass everything.
But I can half-ass
like,
5
you're not
times the amount of
multitasking
shit.
if like the lid is off the toothpaste and there's stuff everywhere. It was like
water.
dew off my drink.
I brush my teeth while I pee. I have
You do that?
I can. I'm a man. I can stand up. I can pee. I can do it
But
all.
how do you aim?
The aiming's done with one hand. The toothbrushing's done with the other. I got it covered.
And then he puts the lid back on the toothpaste with
Your
dick
penis
hand.
hand.
My dick hand.
I said pin a hand.
I wish I could call this episode "Dick Hand." My dick hand. I got my dick hand.
it dick
But
hand.
okay, so yesterday, all right. I've been saving this kernel, okay, for you, Tasha. She's so hyper focused on doing one thing at a time. We get into her Prius. It's 108 degrees out. We get into the car for the first time during the day. So the car's probably about 150 degrees. I sit in the passenger seat. She sits in the driver's seat. She spends about 3 minutes looking up a map on her phone before turning the car on. That's how psycho she is. She didn't turn the AC
were
on.
not hot?
We sat in the car with the windows up, and I'm just sitting there like, this fucking bitch is nuts. We did, Tasha.
Wait, you were not hot?
I would not say that that's my usual behavior. If it's hot, I immediately start the car, get the AC, roll the windows down, like priorities. But I think I probably was not hot, and so I was just like getting the map
140
going so we
degrees.
could go.
Yesterday was really
But
hot.
that's the thing is like I would rather do one thing at a time, prioritize my needs, and do one thing at a time than try to do 50 things at once, because there's no such thing as true multitasking, in my opinion. It's like half-assing a bunch of things. And so like even if I was multitasking, turning on the car and rolling down the windows and turning up the AC and getting the maps, you're still doing each of those things in an order.
You just did it in the wrong order. You should have put the AC on first. No, this is what you should have done. But I wasn't going to.
All you had to do was say, "Babe,
No.
I'm hot. Can we turn the car on?"
Okay. You know what?
And that
Why couldn't you say that?
I'll tell you why, Raquel. I'll tell you why.
Okay,
Because
tell me why.
Tasha, she's going in one direction with her sort of her neural pathways. And
Stop
if you-
thinking for Tasha.
I'm telling you.
That's
I'm
all
gonna
you gotta do.
I'm going to videotape this. The Patreon. Go to the patreon.com/thesap if you
Patreon.
guys want to see the video. I'm going to be videotaping everything about Tasha.
I wanna see
If
this.
you take her off of the track of something she's doing, she will get snappy and her fight or flight mode kicks in. I'm telling you. Tell me if I'm wrong.
No, you're right. I can sometimes have like a little spaz attack if you're like shouting orders
Okay,
at me
so
when I'm in the middle of something.
do the-
else.
do the
But
growl thing. So we get.
Did you growl at
we get in the car, and I just
I wanna
sit
see
there.
this.
Now, if I would,
How do you growl at him?
I don't know.
she goes,
You do?
That's not true.
You do it sort of as a joke, but it is kind of like
I love it. I want
do it.
that.
Give us the growl.
The growl, it comes from a place deep inside. I can't just growl
Dude, Tasha
on
growl.
command.
It's like a real it would hurt. It's
How
like,
can we make you mad right now?
But I was saying this
growl.
earlier. I was like, if there was a game show where you have to get your significant other to hang up on you within 20 seconds, I could do it. I could call her and be like, babe, calm down. I need and just hang up on me. Like, I can trigger her, and I don't do this. I know the power that I have. I can trigger her like that to sort of whatever.
Yeah, I'll tell you exactly what gets me every time. When I'm in the middle of writing a work email and he's shouting on me something else to do, or like saying like, babe, it's device free time, can you get off your phone, or like whatever it is. He's just
Is that my voice?
Yes,
That's your
snapping at as the second I have something important to do on my phone, he's there shouting other
But I don't know.
distractions at me.
And again, this is why an app needs to be developed so your phone has like a red orb
Like a
around
do
it
not
when you're
disturb
you need a do not
light.
disturb ticket on your forehead.
Well, I always tell my husband if it's an important email, I'm like, because we are working 24/7,
everything on your phone.
24/7. So when it's something important, I'm like, hold on 1 second. He knows he can't bug me for the
I'm with you.
amount of time. So yeah, maybe you can try that.
Sometimes
No,
I don't know.
I do try that, but Dave just doesn't seem to like. It's always like shout first, ask questions later. Not like, hey babe, are you doing something important? Can I interrupt you real quick?
But that would still interrupt you.
The
That
fact
would still-
that and you haven't disagreed with me, Tasha. The fact that I knew I couldn't interrupt her in the hot car, and I just like sat
But then
it
you
out.
interrupt her on other things and don't
Because
think about it.
yeah, because it's my nature. Like, babe, I'm trying to because if she needs me, I'm there. I'm there for her, and she knows it. What do you need, babe? I'll come to the other room. I can't tell how many times, at least twice this last month. Okay, you know the logistics of our house, right? I'll be in the kitchen washing something. She'll be in the she'll be in the shower, and then I'll come in there, and then like 10 minutes later, I walk in, and she goes, babe, I've been yelling for you for 10 minutes, and she's all mad at me, and I'm like, what do you need? She's like,
Were you yelling?
Nothing anymore, and I'm like,
Okay, you want to hear what happened? A massive spider came down from the ceiling while I was in the shower, and I'm soaking wet, my hair is wet, I can't just jump out, right? So I stand up on the sides of the tub. We have like a tub and shower, right? So I stand up on the sides of the tub, and I'm just like waiting, and I'm shouting, and I'm like keeping my eyes directly locked on this spider because I don't want it to get away, right?
no, I don't know, but either way, I'm doing the dishes, so like I don't hear her.
Shouting and shouting, and I feel bad for our neighbors over there because I know they hear me.
But it's a loud city. We've got the AC on. There's just a lot.
I understood
But
how
the distance is not far.
it's not. The sound carries, but I can't.
But I don't need her to tell me I could hear her. It's like, no, honey, I couldn't. Trust me, if you're going to be blood curdling screaming.
There has been more than one occasion where you heard something and chose not to investigate. Yes, that's the truth. It's like if you think that something's important, you will go investigate. If you heard a little, like, if you thought for a half a second that I shouted in need, you would think that you would come
But
look.
so what you're
but
saying?
there has been more than one occasion.
What
where
you're saying is that you take offense to me not hearing you because you're taking a personal
I
offense to it.
understood how it was possible. I was just annoyed more than anything else that I had to deal with the spider
It was
myself.
her fear reflecting on you.
But you know what I, do,
was
Raquel?
in a limbic system.
It's her
activation
limbics.
was fully activated.
Your fucking limbics are
and I
annoying
was
the shit out of me.
stressed.
Where
And I
are
had
the
to
limbics?
take- I had no idea.
I
And
feel like it's like that Jurassic Park, the one that just opens like
Yeah.
like they're right here.
Well,
they just come out
there's
this way.
Exactly.
there's this amazing TED talk. It's an amazing TED talk about building empathy, and the guy uses he calls them your angel cocktail and your devil cocktail. And your angel cocktails are by building empathy, you share personal story, you share oxytocin, you let the people feel for you. Like it's like sales 101. It's like it's all this, and then hey.
Yikes, babe.
Devil-
Everyone's just nearly crashed their car. Their ears
And they
hurt.
just experienced the devil's cocktail. Yeah, you need to be careful. And I'm very defensive because, and I'll tell you why. And I know a lot of men and women listening. You so much is at stake, right? Like you're working hard. You're trying. Yeah, I'm trying. Side jobs, this job, main hustle. Blah. So when Tasha says the fucking windowsill's not painted right, I'm immediately like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. But like in the inside, it's like, No, I'm doing everything to make you happy.
Yeah.
And you're in critical mode.
You have to add all the pressure we have outside in the outside world. Like,
except I'm not criticizing her if like something's not painted right.
No, but when I'm asking for your help and then I feel like you've done a half-assed job because you didn't do the simple task of just like doing one more sweep around the room, like trying to pay attention to details, look for the things that you know that I would look for. It's the same feeling.
I understand. It just comes down to, squeaky wheel gets the grease, right? And I'm not squeaky. I'm not complaining about the things you do. It's a one-way street.
That's so not true.
What
you complain all the time.
No, I complain for humor's sake.
Only no. There's a saying in Spanish that from joke to joke, the truth comes out.
Ah.
So, no. Don't come up with that humor shit.
She got Spanish mother on me. No. We have a saying. You have a lot of sayings, Raquel. A lot of sayings going on. Okay, are we good with this?
Yeah, we can segue.
So
I gave you good stuff. And I had to apply it.
No, you know what's great is that you listen to the podcast, so it's like I do
have like a lot of extra.
I have a lot of extra.
I do like criticism. It's again, I'm very defensive, but I do like to grow. I like to be coached.
Yes.
I do. I like to be coached. I play on teams my whole life. I do really well with somebody if I understand what they're saying to me. So it's but I'm also defensive. So it's like you can't just be like, you're fucking doing some shit wrong. You got to be Raquel. I mean, she was Tasha's really good at wrapping gifts.
Mm-hmm.
Physically, really good at wrapping gifts. Tasha, emotionally, wrap gifts that way for me. Put a bow on it.
No, emotionally wrap orders. Like
No, because I do want her to be like. It's some people have like problems in bed where they're like I don't think I'm like defensive. It's like in certain ways, but in other ways it's like the stakes are high for me because I'm trying to do all the things. I'm trying to have.
I think us as comedians, actors, we are already defensive all the time because we're always said no all the time.
Yeah, you like are getting rejected on the daily, so it's almost like
it's really hard to separate your personal life from your work life. And I noticed that in the last like 6 months that my psyche that I carry with the profession was affecting my relationship because I was like, he's like, I've never asked you to do more. I've never asked you to work more, to bring more money to the table. Because there's been months where I make no money. And then there's months where I make what I didn't make in those months. And he's like, why do you keep saying, oh, I just need to, I need to find work. I'm not asking you to do any of that. Why? And I told him, you know what? You're right. You've never asked me to do more. You've never asked me to get a real job. Never. He has never asked me, even though some months were like barely surviving because it's all on him. He's never asked me to change anything in my career to make more money. But then I always complain about all that. Like, oh, I have to do this. Like, I feel like useless. And he's like, but I've never said anything like that. That's when I noticed that my inner self was putting all this pressure because my professional life is putting that pressure on me and I was bringing it to the relationship.
Yeah.
You're like projecting it. You're receiving it and then
like,
you're trying to put it someplace else.
And like, I had to like, sometimes I felt like I had to explain myself to my whole family, to his family. He's like, you don't even have to explain yourself to me because I know you're doing the best you can do. And I'm like, oh, thank you, honey.
We like this guy.
It's and the only time he was nice.
No, but you're right. We put a lot of pressure and stress on ourselves.
It comes with our profession. And I feel like in modeling, because I do modeling too, I feel like in modeling it's a little bit different because it doesn't... once you have your clients, like you're set. And you know they're going to keep rehiring you. But in film and TV, which is, for me, it's my ultimate goal. My ultimate goal is to have a regular series or like a big film, right? Comedy, honestly, I'm just doing it to beat the nerves on the audition room. Because a friend told me, you want to beat the nerves? Do comedy. I'm like, okay. And I actually enjoy it. And I was like, okay, I'm going to keep at it. But
it increases the threshold of what you can handle. So like you're less anxious. You're like, geez, like audition room? Fuck that. I just performed in front of 200 people.
And I felt the difference. I felt the difference now that when I go into audition, like I'm like.
Did you enjoy the Mimosa show?
Oh, I loved it. I loved it. I was so drunk, guys.
You did a lot. You did a lot much
my
longer.
Whole bit because I was drunk and I couldn't remember.
Did you watch yourself?
I did. I loved it.
Yeah. Did you find any new jokes that you wrote?
Like 300.
Amazing. But that's what you do. You have to let
But you know how much mimosa I had? I had like half a glass and I got drunk out of nowhere.
Why? Because you were were you drinking the night before or dehydrated?
No.
Or just...
Maybe I was dehydrated.
This month we went through all 9 liters of champagne and then ran out, and I had to go to 7-Eleven because during my set I was like, "Hey, anybody? Everyone's good."
And everyone holds up their empty glasses.
But all I had done was nonstop popping champagne, in between people's sets. Just popping champagne, and as I went next door, and it was actually not badly priced. This 7-Eleven champagne
for a 7-Eleven,
yeah. And then I just fucking made more champagne, and I was like, I guess we're getting fucked up at noon today. But
I love it.
I can't believe how many people are showing up to
How
this
many
thing.
people were in the last one?
It was, just a full room.
I think that it was probably our fullest room yet, or tied.
Yeah,
or tied.
Well,
for,
put it this way:
the
comics. I had to take all the comics green room chairs for the show.
Oh,
there might have been 3 extra chairs I didn't take, but for the most part, I was like, comics, look.
Nice.
And we had to make
front...
a separate front row where people had their feet on the stage.
No way!
Yeah,
Nice.
So if anyone wants to listen to the audio of that show, I've got all 90 minutes of that Mimosa stand-up show at the patreon.com/thesap. That's patreon.com/THESAP. I was wondering, when you first came on the podcast, had we launched our Patreon yet?
No, not yet. No.
It's exciting. We're getting new people, and every time we get a new person, we send them a postcard. Our latest Patreon member, our patron, hasn't responded to my message, so I don't know what her email is, but I want to send her a postcard. So if you're listening, thank you for donating. Tell us where we can mail this postcard to. If you don't want it, we'll mail it to some strangers. Just give us an address. You'll get a postcard from us.
We'll mail it to your grandma.
We're going to be experimenting with new tiers and things people can sign up for, but basically every week they get something new. So they get 2 solo episodes, which is either just me or Tosh and myself, and then they get the stand-up show, and then they also get a monthly episode of my buddy Jonesy, who has a podcast called Weird AF News.
Yeah.
He comes over and does his Weird AF News with us. Tasha did last month, and then this month I'm gonna play a clip of that at the end of this podcast. The first 5 minutes of Jonesy and I. You want to talk bromance? You want to talk just he's from New England, I'm from New England. we just finish each other's sentences. We're so super
Each other's sandwiches.
Oh yeah, we're just hand jobs for each other. We don't care. We're doing it. I want to start. And again, Tasha, this is nothing against you because I love what we do. But I want to start a podcast with Jonesy just because he's like a bro. We're just bros. He's like a Catholic. He got the same sensitivity. I had to go audition for something the other day. I had to tape an audition, and I go over to Jonesy's house. I bring him a coffee and whatever, and he had some girl over the night before. She wasn't there, but I was like, I got to hear the story about it. I was like, this is what I live for. I live for this, and I got a little bro Jonesy. Anyway, so we do. So and then somebody
men need their men.
Oh, we do.
We
need our
true.
men.
Yeah,
you need your community.
I don't need a giant army, but I do. I've built it out here. I've got my baseball team. I got my comics. And So I think Amanda, one of our Patreon members, was like, dude, you guys are building a real bromance. She commented on it. I was like, yeah, I'm feeling it. I feel it in my loins, me and Jonesy. So the first 5 minutes of that episode, I don't mean to overhype it, but I was like, we're fucking gold. We do these at least an hour-long episodes. So that's a monthly thing. So when people sign up for the Patreon, and we're trying to show people that we're actually investing in stuff. So I'm getting the lights and new cameras, and I got this nice little. I was so happy about my $10 tablecloth.
It's really nice.
We're doing magic tricks in here.
I'm just but so it's I'm just trying to show that your donations do make a difference. It is.
Just fucking donate. Don't care if it makes a difference or not. Just be supportive.
But because I'm a big price comparer, so I'm like, one of our tiers.
Never compare. You're worth it.
No, but I know you're right.
You're
but
worth
one
it
of
all.
one of the tiers, the tier that gets you all the different audio and shit, is the same as $8 for what Hulu would cost. But it's it's not Hulu. It's directly supporting
mom and pop shop.
Mom and pop shop.
But the other thing that we're doing is we got a new guy who's going to be designing a cartoon version of us for artwork because
we met him on live.
Yeah, because we like I like the tree kind of logo thing, but someone had mentioned the designer, he's like, it's kind of too meditative compared to what we do.
Yeah.
So if someone's just swiping through, they go, that looks a little too spiritual. We'll give you some spiritual stuff, but in the toothpaste rant. You know what I mean? That's where most relationships belong, is like talk about, like, be a real relationship and talk about that without, I like to add humor and all that to it, because I don't want it to sound like we're just bitching. I don't want, Tasha, when we're done here, I don't want you to feel like I just put you on the spot, because I know I'm at fault for certain things, but I also, got a hot sauna for 4 minutes while you were like checking the map out, and that's just insanity to me.
Well, think about it. You just got your toxins out of your body. She did something for you.
Thank you
You're
so much
welcome.
for that.
You didn't have to pay $100 to go
fried my
at Shape
proteins.
House.
Yeah, you gave
Where
me.
were you guys going, by the way?
We were going to house hunts. We were looking at houses.
Okay, so you didn't even have to be presentable. You could have been sweaty.
Boy, I looked like I was just taking an SAT exam. I was just like a banshee. It was tough. So this is the last thing I wanted to talk about. We started. I mentioned this to Tasha earlier today. I heard another comic talk about emotional foreplay. Now, the longer I feel like you're in a relationship, the less. I mean, you tell me. Like, you've been married for a long time. Do you find that says it all? Do you find it hard to like keep not just the passion,
hard.
but
and
like the
we're
spontaneity?
going through a thing right now. Like through a thing, because my husband decided to be a workaholic this year for some odd reason. And of course, he's always tired, like extremely tired. And TMI, I don't give a shit. People know. People that follow me know I'm a huge open book. I'm an open book. I've had hormone problems for the past 3 years. I had no sex drive, where naturally I have the sex drive of a man. That's always been
like
me.
A very high sex drive.
Oof, like extremely. The past 3 years, no sex drive. I felt like probably how men feel when they have like erection problems. It was frustrating as fuck. So I get off the pill for many reasons. One of them was that my hormones were up and down and everywhere. And then also I had like liver issues and stuff. So I'm like, I'm done with these hormones. They can go fuck themselves because they're hormones. And
no one else is.
And I talked to my husband about it because it was going to affect our sex life, because he wouldn't be able to, like, we would have to use a condom now.
Yeah.
And he's like, honey, whatever makes you feel better and yourself again, go for it, do it. I'm in it. I can't go anywhere anyways. And I was like, good, because I'm not taking that fucking pill anymore. And I don't want kids either. And he doesn't want kids either yet. Like, we don't want kids right now. So finally, after 6 months of being off the pill, my sex drive is coming
Came back?
But it's slowly but surely coming to normal.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yes, I'm feeling like myself again. You guys, you have no idea.
Do you know what it was?
That happens. It's one of the most common
happens.
side effects of birth control, that
it
you lose
suppresses
your
your
sex drive.
your
But do
sex
you
drive.
guys talk? Do you like make plans like for date night or for like? Hey,
No, which is your last episode with what's his name, Shanning.
Channing, yeah.
I love that he said that he makes plans. I'm like, I need to start doing that, because we don't plan things. We don't. And he's become this fucking workaholic, and it's really hard to get him.
Yeah.
Period. Anytime, anywhere. And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna take that advice, and I'm gonna schedule it in and we actually had like a date night yesterday, but he was exhausted. Like, he only sleeps like 4 to 5 hours a day.
It's tough. I mean, and he's probably like, because I had this issue. I mean, I've had a few different jobs that were like, you try to reach this benchmark, like you'll get like a reward if you do X amount. So I was doing 50 hours a week plus these other things and trying to maintain a fucking life. So and again, and it's just like,
and
the first
comedy,
thing,
which is always at night.
Yeah, so the first thing to go is your sex drive, because you're just like, your creative drive is gone. If you're trying to be creative and you don't get 6 hours sleep, good luck. Good luck writing a fucking bit or a screenplay. You're just done. And not to mention, you're going to be eating more sugar the next day. I crave sugar if I don't sleep enough, and that's a fact. Google it. So all these things are...
So you're not getting creatively fulfilled. You're getting fat. And
your sex drive is dying.
Sex drive is low.
Literally, it's just so unhealthy in so many ways. You're just in survival mode.
You are, and that's what's happening to my husband right now. But he's not. He's in a way very selfless with me. Nobody else. He doesn't give a shit about anybody else. It's hard. I hope none of his family listens to this. But if you do, just beep this out. Keep listening.
Subscribe to the Patreon.
And subscribe to the Patreon, yes. But it's been really hard, because now my sex drive is a fucking teenager sex drive, right? And I'm coming back and I'm like I call him like at midday. I'm like, I'm so fucking horny. I don't know what to do.
Boy, Raquel, our phones are lighting up right now. We didn't even have a phone. Just taking calls.
And my husband's like, I'll get you a night. But like, either work like at a stand up something or whatever, or I'm doing a meeting or whatever, I get home late. I get home, and by late, like he's in bed by 8. I get home by 9. That's it.
Yeah. Dave and I have the same problem because I have to wake up super early, and he stays out at night for mics, and we both.
Well, you say stay
tired.
out. I work usually till 8 or 9, and then I go to a mic.
Yeah,
so it's fucking. So it's not like I'm enjoying it.
It's hard. I don't like to go to sleep before he gets home. I sometimes will, but for the most part, I like kind of wait up for him, and I might fall asleep.
Whereas I'd say I would prefer you to fall asleep because then I don't feel guilty. You know what I mean?
That you were waiting,
and we need to figure out. Like, we need to be better at knowing which nights.
The answer, what has ended up happening is that he's waking up early in the morning with me. I'm staying up late to wait for him at night. And so, like, we're both just
not sleeping.
Yeah.
And, I mean, look, my schedule... my trajectory with comedy, I can produce a mimosa show at noon, but for the most part, it's a nighttime gig.
It's always
you're
at
with
night.
the vagrants of society out at night. You're performing. You're just a street performer up there, and there's a romance to it. But also, like, I look forward to the day where I don't have to have my side job be 40 hours a week because that's crazy. I mean, I'm not lying. During my lunch break at my side job, I'm in a Starbucks for 30 minutes writing my screenplay. Like, so when Tasha's and it's fair for her when I'm like supposed to be home at 9:48 and I'm home at 10:15 and she's giving me attitude. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Everything I'm doing is to make it so I can get over that hump of all the side gigs and get it to that level.
You know what's going to work out really nicely when you're making $1 zillion on screenplays or comedy specials, and I can retire, and then we won't have to wake up early.
Raquel,
but truly, would you like to retire? Wouldn't you be bored if you retired?
I think I would find ways to keep myself occupied. I just think that, like, there's less pressure. You can say no to the things that you don't want to do.
When I get the money, when I have the resources, sell the script and all that, I'm going to start offering Tasha money for blowjobs. Now, I've got an heirloom recipe for how to do that. I'm going to have a mutual friend decide what the blowjob was worth. Okay. Because I'm not going to let her mail it and you expect $1,000. But if she sucks if she blows you. If she blows you $2,500 worth, you got to, like, your buddies will be like, that was a $2,500 blowjob. All right, fine, you earned it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's like, she was checking her watch. She was, she was actually checking out Reddit.
Where are these buddies observing from is what I want.
From a safe distance. We'll phone them in. I'm just saying, we've got some friends.
I think this is something that you and I can decide. We can negotiate a price.
You can do,
No, I'm just saying, you get a couple, you get a friend, like I always use Gooch and Sarah and our friends.
I say when it comes down to sex, it has to be equal. And and this TMI again, TMI.
Go for it.
But basically, because I was very hypersexual. I've always been very hypersexual my entire life. I didn't mind giving my husband a blowjob every time we had sex, and we had sex almost every night at the beginning. Not anymore. We're lucky we get it once a week. But when this whole hormone thing happened, and I was like, well, I need more foreplay, which doesn't usually happen that much anymore because we're
pressed on time, tired.
We want to get it done so we can go to sleep and have a great night.
You get the birds shitting everywhere. You got 6 dogs that need to be walked. Fucking life, man.
But I told him when my hypersexuality came down, I realized, fucker, I blow you all the time and you never come down. Like, fuck you. You want a blowjob? You blow me. And it has to be fair. And then anal. Let's talk about anal. I hate anal. I hate it with all my life. I hate it with all my gut. I have never enjoyed it. I have never found a way to enjoy it. I hate it. And I told him, and obviously all men love it because it's tighter, whatever. But I told him, you want anal? I got a dildo. We both have anuses. It has to be equal. It has to be equal. So
give him a little pinky. Teach him a lesson.
But he never insisted. Has he ever asked me for anal again? Nope. It has to be fair. So when it comes down to blowjobs, you just have to do this.
But I'd go down on Tasha. I'd go down on her 2 to 1. I'd go down on her 2 times for every blowjob.
Well, there you go. But the money has to be for sure. The blowjob, that's
but here's what's crazy. I think, again, I've never given head. I've never blown a guy. I just would think if you're out of the shower, you're clean, whatever. A blowjob is way less messy messy than me going down on a vagina. Again, and I've got a lot of shit because I've been shitting on the vagina. I love the vagina. It's a beautiful flower. Blah blah blah.
Neither the penis or the vagina are pretty.
The vagina's got some shit going on down there when you start getting it turned on.
But not all women like to give blowjobs, and it's a sacrifice, just like it is for you to do a blowjob.
Every guy, and again, men. Share this podcast with your ladies if you're listening. If you're listening in the car together, don't think it doesn't apply to you. Darren, if you're listening.
It applies to everyone.
My buddy Darren, you better get Claire to blow you, okay? You know what I mean? It's I don't know. I mean, I feel like we will I'll if it's like a 69 maneuver, go down and it's like I think my dick kind of blows you. I think it kind of gets with consent. But I mean, I feel like Josh, you're never sitting me down and going, "Don't move. I'm gonna blow your mind tonight." This is not happening. Again,
well, maybe she doesn't like to give blowjobs. I don't know.
But it's like, is the thing of not liking it enough? But what if I don't know?
Say it. Open.
No, I'm just saying. Like, well, I don't like to. I'm not a huge like. I don't like going down on her because it makes my tongue feel good. I do it because it's like I know she likes it, and it buys me some time before I, have a premature ejaculation, whatever. Like you do what you do. You slap around, whatever. I don't know. But my point.
But this is the thing. Some men like to eat pussy. Some women like to give blowjobs. Some men don't like to eat pussy. Some women don't like to give blowjobs. So you got to work with what you have.
But I think it also can help to learn to like something.
No.
I think that
sometimes
Tasha, you don't have a problem blowing me.
You meet in the middle. It's a little give and take.
Just give her a tequila shot.
It died
She'll
again.
Be fine. That's fine. We're good.
But yeah, if I know like that it's gonna make you happy and whatever, okay.
Let me just get this one moment again.
God,
do this thing. Tasha, let me tell you something. I'm gonna turn it up a lot. It does make me happy. Okay? So don't say this thing, if I knew it made you happy. I'm sorry I didn't communicate that to you 5 years in.
Wait a second.
all men are happy with a blowjob.
But let me tell you what makes me happy.
I've literally convinced myself.
But can I tell you what makes me happy?
I'm online trying to buy you a diamond ring because I get a good blowjob, okay? Like I'm ready to go. My toes are curled. Everything's good.
Okay. I bet you anything that if she was really, really turned on, she would give you that blowjob with no problem, right?
100%.
Then just
I'm going to save this episode.
one for the other one. We get turned on, seduced, foreplay. We're more psychological, and that's what men don't understand.
Well, this conversation was, I did want to talk about emotional foreplay because I did
What's emotional
so
foreplay?
I heard a comic talk about it. I'm not going to burn his bit, but he was like saying how he's 5 years into a marriage, he's got 4 kids, and the only way that he sort of like gets laid is if he wants to get laid on Wednesday, he starts emotional foreplay on Sunday. And it's just like in that inception planning to see like, hey honey, like what if like blah blah blah, what if I did this to you later, blah blah blah. It's like kind of just like implanting maybe your ladies at work,
a little
whatever,
dirty talk,
hey,
a little sexy
tonight
text.
I'm going to give you a little massage.
That's
and then
very
I'm gonna
important
eat your pussy.
because we're more psychological.
Yeah.
I wish my husband would do emotional foreplay, but he's tired all the time.
Well, when he's driving to work, we'll pop this podcast and be like, surprise.
I'll just play it on him.
But if you think about it, like, it all starts with like a little tit pic or something. You know what I mean? Like, hey.
Because like every guy knows this. Like I'll like wake up, like I'll wake her up in the middle of the night, not even realizing it, because I got because I'm just like turn like guys. It's not rocket science. We're just like always when we'll get turned on super easily. Like it sounds so stupid, but I could in trying to turn Tasha on, turn myself on. You know what I mean? Like so, but our issue, and again, this is not a big deal, but there is sort of like I think Tasha has a hard time. I'm trying to make it not me just pointing fingers at you as I point a finger at you.
As you point your finger at
me.
I think we as a couple have a hard time having Tasha initiate that conversation.
Initiate sex?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
and maybe it's being a woman, but like she'll like laugh and giggle, and I'll be like, "What?" She goes, and I'm like, "What do you need? What do you want?" Like,
She's like,
and if she goes,
I don't have to tell you.
Women just never developed the fucking need to do that. To be like, "Hey, honey, I want to frolic with you." She'll just look at me, and if I don't like know what she means, I'll be like, "Oh, that was the sex move. That was the best you had. That was you wooing me." I come home with flowers and a fucking tie. I think
just with relationships and everything, sex is the same. Communication is key. When I met my husband, he was such. How can I put this? He's more of a lover, not a fucker. And I remember I enjoyed that so much. And it was like, honey,
You enjoyed the loving as opposed to just the fucking.
No. Like, he would make love instead of just fuck. When all my boyfriends before or sex encounters before were all just let's fuck.
Yeah.
Fuck. And
It feels so like business like.
And he was more of a caring. I don't want to say passionate.
What were his moves though? Like, break it down for
Jeez,
us. Like,
Tasha.
He was very Latin. So he like, I don't even know how to like,
Suavemente besame.
he did it so suavemente. No. But like, for example, like, my first boyfriend, I remember, like, to start fucking, like, he would just come and touch me and grab my pussy basically from the back, and like that would turn me on.
What's wrong? What's the move?
because I was really, I've
Did
always
you date
been,
Donald Trump? What is it? You just grab your
I know,
pussy?
it was like that. Because I was always so hypersexual, it wasn't a problem, and all the time
but it makes a
huge difference because I remember the first time I slept with my husband, I said I'm going to marry this man because of the way he made love to me.
I'm sure Tasha thought the same thing.
You know what it was? You know what it was like? You know, like when I know it was almost like a movie, but you know how Brad Pitt always portrays his sex in movies versus, let's say, I don't know, Matthew McConaughey. There's a huge difference. Brad Pitt is all about you. I'm gonna adore you. I'm gonna touch you. It's all about you. I want to touch every single.
Oh yeah, Brad
piece
Pitt
of
and Troy. I'd fuck him. That guy's pectorals.
Or like, what was the other movie where he also like? There's like gay. No, was it?
Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
No,
he's like fighting and then they're fucking. But I think Matthew McConaughey's got charm. Maybe he's not as romantic.
I feel like Brad Pitt is more like, I'm gonna praise you because you're a reward to me, and that's how my husband.
He's selfless.
Like, worshiping all of you, not just like here for. So
it was really, and I had a rule when I was single when I met him because he was my first one night stand in Miami.
Nice.
When I met him, I had a rule: I would never go down on any stranger one night stands. I will go down on a man if I've been with him for X amount of months. He was my exception because he indulged me so much in this passion and like connection and everything that I was like, fuck, I'm gonna suck his dick. And I suck his dick. And to this day, I think the first time we had sex, it was the best sex I've ever had in my life.
Wow.
I probably repeated it several times in our marriage. But
by the way, I did have to let you know, I've talked to the lawyers. A one-night stand is not a one-night stand if you marry the person.
Well, then it wasn't a one-night stand.
But I know what you mean.
But he was a stranger to me.
Yeah.
He was a stranger.
Yeah, in its moment, it was a one-night.
He was, in his moment,
wow,
it was a
and you
one-night
fucked
stand.
and you blew him, and there you go. Jesus
and
Christ,
I had
boy.
a rule. But it was the way he made... And to this day, I think he still does that. Not anymore. Actually, maybe till 5 years in, he still did it, and then we got busy in our lives and marriage, and now we're used to each other.
But
and
look,
now,
it's okay.
Now it's like, hey, he comes over, and he's like, hey, babe, you want to fuck? That's how he foreplays. That's how he foreplays.
I sent Tasha a Venmo request for fuck. How much money? Just fuck. It's just a pomegranate.
But that doesn't do anything to me. I'm like, no.
No, I understand that.
He could have done the exact same thing where he just comes over and touches me, and I would have been like that. Like,
and it's hard to put the genie back in the bottle because you don't have that sort of limbic system of being like touched for the first time by a new person where, oh shit, and it's like, is he going to bite me? Is he going to push me? So it's like men, we're working against the fact that we don't have, like I always say, like I haven't brought this up in a long time. We were at this party, we'll wrap this up real quick. We were at this party and this fucking guy that we both knew gave Tasha his phone number and he was a DJ and I was like, fuck that guy. I can't compete with a new.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
We were at John's place and some dude was like a DJ and he like got your number, but like to you there was no big deal. But I was like, I see what's going on, and just so you know, I can't compete against new dick. So like I'm not even I'm like the guy who's got to drive her home and blast the heat because she's chilly. Like I've got to worry about all these things, and there you are, just a fucking dude who can who's a DJ. Like so it's like it's hard when you're in a relationship because
but if you focus on looking at it that way,
right? Well, I look at it as in a comical way where I'm like, this fucking dude, like how nice are you? Because I used to be that single guy who could like kind of like give a married woman or a girl with a boyfriend like a certain look, and she'll be like, ooh, and like she might feel that attention, like, ooh, I got this guy's checking me out. Like everyone likes to be checked out, but then there's a husband there that's like, fucking enjoy it.
But the moral of the story is that you've got to like make the effort to give the other person what they need.
But I think that's all individual. I'm going to say why. My husband and I, and this is TMI. You're going to know our
third
secret.
TMI of the evening.
But we actually get turned on when people hit on, like, let's say women hit on him. I get turned on because I'm like, yeah, that's my piece of ass. You're hitting on, and I'm like, he still has it. Yeah, that's fine, and that turns me on for some reason.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then he gets turned on when men hit on me. Now, don't confuse. I get attention from men all the time because of social media, because I'm a playmate. But when it's specifically like in the same room and he sees that somebody's hitting on me, and he actually lets them and he watches because it turns him on.
But that's a good trust thing for him to not be like some insecure, like, whoa, what are you talking to? Like,
yeah, because we know
you're going home together at the end of the night,
and it's the whole. We believe in the whole flirt all you need, because when we go home, we're gonna have urges, you know. The Tara Banks and what is it, America's Next Top Model?
Yeah,
she said you do that. You flirt as much as you want. You flirt all you can because you have somebody at home that's gonna, fulfill your needs.
Sure,
but you will go in with like. Like you're
yeah, it's the spice. That's the thing. It's like that's like the spicing it up. That's what the foreplay is.
So you should never look at it that way.
Well, I don't.
You should be like, yeah, that's right. That's my woman.
No. The thing is, and it wasn't like, oh my gosh, is she gonna stray from me? Ugh. It was like, bro, like, have a little fucking respect.
No,
I knew that guy.
But what I'm saying is that you felt it as a competition, and it shouldn't be a competition.
No. I felt it as an ego to be like, because like this happened once at Valentine's Day where I went to the bathroom and came back. We were at a bar, and I came back and some dude was hitting on Tasha. Cool, whatever. You didn't know she had a boyfriend, whatever. But like this dude, we're at a small house party of 9 people.
But if you start looking at it as I'm exciting.
Try
it.
No,
try
this
it.
was. I understand.
I'm just saying, you're gonna fuck so good that night. I'm telling you,
but in this case,
works.
it was more me looking at it as a comic to be like, dude, fuck you. I know the game. I know what you're doing. Oh, and I should have mentioned we're at friends' houses who made all of his money as a pickup artist, as a men's dating advice coach. So it's like we go out to some of these dinners and it's like, bro, don't. I know you're bragging to your Sean. It's like, it's like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? And anyway, so it's like it's like if we were magicians and some guy tried to do a card trick to Tasha, I'd be like, don't fucking do. Or like if like a comic tried to run a bit by her, I'd be like, don't.
But I think that would be more exciting because Tasha got their attention and Tasha is yours.
I'm no nonsense. Sorry to spit on you.
Spit on me.
If you guys
territory. I think we just went like 2 hours, right?
If you enjoy the stylings of Raquel Pomplun, you can find her July 3rd at 8:00. The Melting
Pot Show.
And this is at the back of Sal's Comedy Hall. Yes. Sal's, am I pronouncing right?
And you're going to find also Dave there because he is our white guy.
Yeah. I told Tasha, I was like, I'm the standard white guy.
You still have to dress up. And it's 4th of July, so you have to wear something patriotic.
I have a red, white, and blue tie.
Perfect, because you're the one representing the melting pot.
Yeah, great. I'm the one representing all the things we all hate about culture. I'll be that guy. Thank you so much for having me on your show for July 3rd. Are you going to come, Tasha?
I don't know.
You should. Because it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, you don't pull her to shows, but if Raquel's going to be there, come on.
It's a different show. It's run by women. Trust me, it's better.
Oh yeah, it'll be nice. All the chairs will be organized perfectly. The toothpaste lids will be shut. All the fucking shit. She can. Okay, yeah, and okay. So I'll promote that again at the beginning. I'll do an intro for the beginning because I know this is complicated because we got cut off, and then when we were cut off, Tasha ordered Chinese food, which is probably going to arrive any moment. Yeah, so and people can follow you on Instagram, rpomplun at POMPLUN, right? And then what else can we promote for you? When are you two going to do a podcast together?
We should.
I don't know. We really should.
We should.
I was thinking this because Jess, who's a previous guest who I love, Jess is like my twin. She's like my sister. Jess, I think you guys, or like I don't know what the deal is. Maybe she'll do her own thing. But you guys need like a community of female voices.
Yes.
That's like keeping tabs with your audience on the regular, because you can't always get that. Like Instagram, other social media is really good, but this long form shit, you need to be in their ears, especially with comedy. And for Tasha, just I mean, I'll punch the button, I'll hit record.
With Tasha's brain, because basically she's so smart, and she's everything I think she puts it in words. Like, I'm like, finally, that's exactly what I've always thought, and she put it in words. I'm like, yes.
There you go. Yeah. And then
You're very smart, Tasha.
Thank you.
But anyway, not to pressure you guys. I think it would be a good thing. And then you could always do like a couple episodes. You don't have to do an hour, 45-minute long episodes.
Maybe we could do like a special segment or something.
Do like little 30-minute. Here's the thing.
We'll
just
be the pap.
Don't. Yeah. Pap smear.
The pap.
Scraping the cervix with Raquel.
Oh my god.
Anyway,
that's good.
Brainstorm on it, and I'll be here if you guys want, and then I can just hit the button. I can get your sound good. I'll run your social, and then me and your boy will be over there. We'll go crack some beers and be bros. But,
because he loves it too. Don't you get me wrong. He loves the whole bro thing. That's why he's in the military.
Dude, I took my C4 today. I've never bonded so quickly with another guy based on what type of pre-workout drink we take. Yeah, let's get out of here. Let's go eat some Chinese food. Thank you so much for coming back on.
Thank you for having me. I love it.
We love having you on. You're so sweet. Everyone, please go follow her. And of course,
sorry for all the sex talk, guys, but it's real.
Are you kidding me? These dudes are smoking a cigarette. They all came.
It's sex, actually. Okay, we're all. This is the thing. Everybody's such a hypocrite because everybody's like, "Oh, sex, taboo sex," but we'll do it. We'll want it.
Well, can I tell you?
We'll come to this world through it.
I've got a stalker who I know from high school. She's stalking me, and I posted on Instagram the other day just a laundry list.
Yeah, I saw that.
That was her. So I stopped responding a year ago, but now it's getting a little more personal the way she's it's not stalk, but so because we called Sex Actually podcast, she feels the need to just like berate me with how like men and women should be, and she uses all these antique terms like harlots, like harlotry, like women are committing harlotry, and they're all prostitutes and and it's crazy, and it's like just because we talk about sex, and it's like you're in a respectable relationship, and even if you weren't, even if you just wanted to go have one, it's the
most natural thing in the world.
Yeah,
sex and
all we're trying to do is preach like self-love and more importantly communicating with our family, our loved ones, because so much has gone wrong in people's lives because of miscommunication. Because you think you're talking one way and they're not absorbing it. So we have fun, but we also have these moments where it's like, audience, get your shit together. Get your shit together as we try to get ours together, and just do better, because that's all we can try to do is
let us be an example.
Blow your husbands, and I think that's what we got out of it.
But only blow your husbands if they blow you first.
Yes, that's right. Equal blows for everybody. That's my platform.
No, but it's true. We're psychologically, we're not physical, so we need to get into that state. How can you get us in that state? Blow us first.
Trust
me, you don't even gonna have to ask to blow. We will go naturally.
Let her push your head down on her, okay? Thank you so much for doing the podcast. Raquel Pomplun, Tasha Courtney, I'm Dave Neal. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Just blow each other.
Blow.